Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Galactic Thursday. I'm Jeanette Byro, and I'm a medium and a channeler. And today is all about the galactics. So what's interesting is I finished filming yesterday's message, and then the galactic guides wanted to come through right away. So I love it when they do this because it always means there's something like really significant. They're like, hey, wait. So I'm just going to tune in, see who's here, and bring through whatever messages we need to know from the stars right now. So just hold on a minute. Okay, yes. Okay, I get why. So in yesterday's message, if you missed it, you definitely want to go back and check. I talked about the speed at which we are evolving at, the pace at which we're moving. It's getting faster and faster because our frequency is rising higher. Therefore, we experience time faster, okay? On that note, so continuing with that, this is coming from my council. This is coming from Shaham, who's an ARCTURIAN, amazing being and soul. But also my MANTIS guide is coming through, Uzma. And they're talking about, yes, they're talking about the galactic communication between you and your guides. So you and your galactic guides, because all of you have most likely, I'm saying most likely just to cover my bases. What I really want to say is all of you have galactic guides. However, most likely all of you do. And their form of communication is very interesting because if we take that same time idea where time in 3D density is much slower than time in 5D density, and we're starting to see that in our own experience on this planet, right? When we're really stuck in 3D, things seem to move slower. When we're up in 5D consciousness, things seem to move a little faster. That's what we're noticing now, right? So when you have a galactic guide coming from a much higher density consciousness, they will communicate something to you this fast sometimes. And so what I think people sometimes misunderstand is they think their guides need to have a linear communication with them the same way in which I'm having a communication with you right now. So far, I've been yapping here for 2 minutes and 32 seconds, right? That's the linear nature of this conversation. Yet with the higher guides, when they come through, it's like all the information comes that fast. And then you sort of like absorb it. It's kind of like you take a drink of water and then your body absorbs that water and brings it everywhere it needs to go. So the reason they're bringing this through is because they're like, some of you are missing the amount of what we're bringing through because you're taking just the initial sip and not feeling the whole integration and absorption of the message. So what you can do to kind of embrace that a little bit more is when you have that random flash or random bit of insight that comes into your mind, right? Say you're washing dishes, because I love this idea because this happens to me often. I'm washing dishes and then spirit just boop, pops in, starts talking. When you have that experience, acknowledge it first of all, and like take that snapshot, like make it real. What I do to do that is I usually say, hi, I know you're there. Thank you for coming. And it's like made it real. So then I can then go into that energy and sort of expand that bubble. I talked about it on a video, just kind of like those sort of Q&A videos that I do. I talked about this thought bubble, and that spirit brings in a thought bubble. And if you go back into the energy and you actually kind of look around, you spend time in it, you can see there's so much information given in that one thought bubble. And that's what they really want us to remember, is that their conversations are not always going to be linear in nature. It's kind of like they drop the information in and we need to go in and move through it from our reality in sort of a linear way, right? They're showing me too here. They're like, you could see it like a scroll. We give you the scroll and maybe you know the scroll is about creation, right? But you're like, yes, it's about creation, but I don't know what they said. But it's in the scroll. So what you need to do is you need to unroll the scroll and then you need to read through the scroll to understand what they said. It's that same idea with this kind of thought bubble. Because they're like, number one, we need to get used to interdimensional communication because it's going to happen more and more often. Number two, there's important information in that communication too, and we don't want to miss it. So they're saying really take that snapshot of that connection in that moment, make it real, and then go back in and expand it. You didn't have it and then lose it. And I remember that's something I used to think in the beginning. I used to think, oh, I couldn't hold it long enough. I don't know what they said. But it actually wasn't about that. It was about going back into that moment and expanding it, right? Because time in which they're from is much faster, first of all, but they also recognize it's not linear. So they can drop this kind of thought bubble, okay? One thing, that's one thing. I'm going to see what Uzma has to say here. Hold on. Okay. She's saying that when this happens too, many of you might notice a change in frequency that happens in your body. Sometimes it can actually make you feel a little bit unsteady or even a little bit nauseous. A lot of that energetic transference from that experience moves through your whole body and your body adjusts to it. It gets easier with time, but in the beginning, you might find sometimes when you go back into that energy, you feel you can't handle it that long because it's a higher frequency and your body will make you feel a little bit funny. The best thing you can do is relax in that moment, right? So when you go into that thought bubble, you sit in there and all of a sudden if you're like, oh, my stomach feels funny, instead of rushing to get out and be like, no, make it stop, actually pause in that area and allow your body to relax, and you'll be able to integrate faster and faster and faster. She's like, give the body time to catch up to what your mind can already do, because your mind is already moving very fast, much faster than maybe many of you think. She's also saying too, for many of you, this is happening in dream state. So if you wake up in the morning and you wake up with like a fragment memory of something in your dream state, go back into that memory and sit there in that thought bubble and expand it. And you may get more kind of waking state memory of what was said, done, discussed, all that kind of thing. It's really making the most of their communications, but recognizing that the way and the method of communication from the galactics is very different. It's very different. It is also very telepathic. So oftentimes with spirit guides, when you hear them come through or feel them come through, usually when you hear them though, you'll hear a different voice, a perception of a different voice, or like something like that, right? That's kind of like spirit and spirit guides. When you have galactic guides coming through, it's very telepathic. So it's information into your mind. And so sometimes we're waiting to hear it with a different voice, but it doesn't always come with a different voice. So for those of you that are really clairaudient, your galactics might not come in with a different voice, but rather choose telepathy because it's just more seamless. So something to consider. What a cool concept today. So I will leave that with all of you for now. Thank you so much as always for joining. I do want to invite you to Cosmic Consciousness next Wednesday. It's all about Egypt, ancient Egypt, the pyramids, what they've discovered. I also have some channeled messages I'll bring through from some beautiful beings from that time and that place. And we're going to talk about some cosmic history too. So it's going to be great. I'm so excited to dive in. I have such a passion for Egypt, and I hope you all can join. So if you want to join, you can sign up at avalonspirit.com under Cosmic Consciousness, and I will see you then. Have a good one, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.